Hello students, and welcome to this video for Learning Publisher exercise number 30. And so we're going to be working on creating business cards today. We're kind of now to the point where we're just going through and we're practicing using what we learned way back in using a specific type of template. So flyer, we were covering greeting cards and envelopes, and now we're on business cards. So we're going to be doing that here in this exercise. Some things to keep in mind, of course, we have our background. That's the fill or effect applied to the entire publication rather than the object. So the background, we have typically been using just the objects themselves and changing them. So we're going to be applying it to the background instead. Also, there's the horizontal gap, so the mouse space between the right edge of one copy and the left edge. So because we're making multiple copies on one page, and there's also the vertical gap, and you can set that here with your business card. So if we want to make a business card, we got to go to built-in here, and then of course we're going over here to business cards. That's the fifth one on the first row for me, and then you have all these different types you can choose, and of course you can click on it and get a little preview of what it's going to look like. Of course, you can change color scheme we talked about before. You can change your font scheme here. Business information, if you want to make a new one or you use the old, you can do that. And then of course you can use for page size, really here it's just deciding if you want portrait or if you want landscape, because you can change it more in the actual thing. And then of course you could choose to include a logo or to not include one by checking or unchecking this box. So that's how you make one. It's pretty simple to do that. We're going to be talking about how to use a background here in a little bit too as we're working on the exercise. So let's go ahead and get started. If you aren't already here, go ahead and do that. Remember, you just click on built-in, and then you go to business cards, and we're going to be selecting color band design. So color band design, and then it says make the business card landscape in orientation. So over here, we got to make sure it's selected landscape, which it already is, so we're good to go. Landscape being left and right, portrait being up and down. And then it says do not include the logo, so I'm going to uncheck this here. It says to apply the Shamrock color scheme. So right here, it's actually right under Sapphire, so that works well for me. You may have to search a bit for it. And then also it says to find basis. Remember, you're going by the smaller word up here, not the exact font that's selected, but by the small word up here. And so I have basis already selected, ready to go. Now it doesn't talk about applying any business information specifically, so just go with what you have here and you'll end up changing the info anyways. So let's click create, and we need to change the information like I said. We aren't going with what we have for business information. So let's start here with the name. We're going to get rid of that and put in a new one. So we are typing in Miriam Goldstein, so from last time. So Miriam Goldstein, she is the owner. So I can actually double click and get rid of it that way and type, so owner. Then for the address, let's get rid of this here. The address is 7220 Wilmington, excuse me, oh gosh, 7220 Wilmington Avenue. So 7220 Wilmington Avenue. And then on the next line is Boston, MA, Boston, MA 02145. So there's that information there. Then I'm going to zoom in down here for the contact info, which is already pretty big as is. All right, we do need to change phone. So let's select the phone number. We can leave the word phone, and we are typing in 387, parentheses around it. I almost forgot. 387-555-1987. And then let's select the fax number and change that. Businesses still use these. You don't see them as much as they used to be used. So 387-555-1829. 387-555-1829. And then for the email address we're going to put in, I have to click a little bit closer here to it for the insertion point to come up, and we're going to type in Miriam at, oh, let's see here, let's try it again. It seems to be having issues. Okay, we may have to stretch the box a little bit. Let's see. Oh, there we go. it looks like it already was putting information in here. So I had to pull this down a little bit to see this. I'm going to get rid of this all extra stuff here. And that's a thing with templates sometimes. It's a little bit tricky. You'll notice I click and push backspace and it wants to get rid of all of it. So I had to pull this down a little bit. The dot here, I'm putting it back up here. I'm going to select the text and then type it in. Otherwise, it's going to have issues. So Miriam at paperforest.net. And the way I had to get this so I could see it, I had to pull down this bottom size handle, select, click and drag across, and push backspace and then type in what I wanted. If you tap backspace, it'll just get rid of the whole thing. So I would not recommend doing that. All right, we got that information here. We need to move up here to this part of the business card because we're not dealing with a computer lab. We are actually putting down the paper forest. And let's select this text because we're going to increase the size of it here. So let's change it to 14 point font. Right now it's 7.9. So that's 14 point font. Also, it says move it up to the top right corner of the business card and center it horizontally in its box. So that means let's move it up here. Top right corner, as they said. So I'm going to line it up basically here. Once it gets to that pink line, lines up with Miriam Goldstein. And then it says to center it horizontally. So right up here, let's center it. And that'll work right there. So the paper forest. All right, now it says we need to insert a picture into our publication. So I click insert, I go to pictures. This is one you should have downloaded. So I'm gonna actually have to go to where I have these stored. You're gonna go to probably your downloads folder more than likely. So it's called 40pic. I'm gonna click insert. You can see it looks like this right here, and we are going to place it over here. So it's going to be under, let's line it up with the pink line you can see there with the paper forest. So I got it lined up like that, and let's actually, it's pretty good right there. So you can see it's just a little bit lower than the box line here for the address, and of course a little bit lower here too for the green line. So we have that taken care of. It says remove the fill for all text boxes on the page. So the way we could do that is literally you click on a text box, you go to format here in the drawing tools, you click shape fill, and you do no fill. Same thing for this. Now I'm going to try it here. We'll see if we can click and drag. Yep, we can click and drag all the text boxes over here on this side. You can see I went outside of it, clicked and held down and dragged it across. If you do it a little bit on the inside of it, it's not going to work. Click shape fill, and of course no fill. Now there's a reason we're doing this. We don't want a white fill because once we change our background, it's going to get messed up. It's not going to work properly. Now it says apply the newsprint texture as the background for our card. So apply the newsprint texture as the background for our card. So and the way we can do that is we need to go and format our card, specifically the background. So let me see if I can get this to work here. Oh, no, we got to click outside of it. There's too many objects on here. All right, let's go to page design tab, and then all the way over here to the far right we have background. So I was hoping we could get to it by right clicking, but it looks like we have to go through the tab. So page design, background, and then over here we've got solid background, and then of course more background. So we're going to want to select that because we're going to want to choose a picture or texture fill. So texture, and then let's go down to our texture option. So you can see that's how my box looks. I selected picture or texture, go down here to textures, and we're choosing newsprint. So it's this one. Oh, excuse me, not that one. It is, right here next to it. So this one right here, it's kind of the lighter gray. For me, it's basically dead center in all the textures. So it might be different for you. Click on that, and then we click OK, and it applies it. So I'm going to zoom it out a little bit. It looks better as you zoom it out. Otherwise, it's a little bit chintzy. It's kind of been stretched out a little bit. But if you were to make one, you could apply a texture, maybe one that's a little bit nicer looking there. All right, that's what we needed to do for this exercise. Let's save it. as 40 card. 40 card. So I'm going to go to my folder, 40 card underscore your initials. So 40 card underscore your initials. And we'll save it. And it says to print the whole page full of cards. So we're going to choose print. So I did control on the letter P. You'll notice it's listed out multiple of them on one sheet. So it says multiple copies per sheet. It has 10. If I wanted, I could change it here, the number. I could also change the size and layout options of it as well if I needed to. So let's select Microsoft Print to PDF. We're going to choose to print it. And of course, saving it with the same name. So 40 card underscore your initials. All right, we got another one to make here. We're going to open up a new file. So File, New. And it says create business cards for yourself for either your current job or a job you would like someday. So if you have a job that you do already, you could do that. Otherwise, you're going to be making one for yourself. Okay. So some things that you need to do for this one. Okay, you're going to have to do some stuff for it. Let me actually bring up. Or actually, I'm going to save a file. We'll do that way. So I'm going to click Built-in. I'm going to click on Business Cards. You already know this step. You're going to end up picking one of these. I want you to pick something that's different from what we just did. So don't go with Shamrock. Don't go with Basis. Choose other stuff. Okay. Now, I have my information here that I could actually use as business info. So if you have business info for yourself already, that'll work well. But you're going to need to make one. Pick something different. And then, of course, it doesn't say you have to include a logo or anything like that. But you do need to put this in. And, of course, let's save it here. So, File, Save, of course, Browse. And then what you're going to save it as is 40 mycard underscore your initials. So, 40 mycard underscore your initials. You're going to print a copy of it as well. But you do need to change the background. So make sure you do this right away. You put in all your information for this. You change the background of it. And then also, you need to change the size of the card. So I go over to the page design. And then I click for page setup. You can see page size. There's a couple different ones. We have North American size, but we have some different ones here. East Asian size, European. You need to switch it to European size. So click on that European size and then also change the background. Make sure it's your information. Once you've done that, make sure you save it and then of course choose to print your cards. You'll notice it changes it a little bit compared to the one we did just last time. And of course you're saving it with the same name. So 40 mycard underscore your initials. And let me show you here the files you need to turn in quickly before I let you go and get started on that. And of course, the files you need to turn in for exercise 40, we have 4 of them. You have 40 card publisher file and PDF, and you also have 40 mycard publisher file and PDF. And that is how you complete Learning Publisher exercise number 40.